Hi everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Techbytes, tips and resources for educators, brought to you by MASSP. My name is Ryan Casey. Today we are going to check out Wakelet, which is a free online digital curation or collection of all of the great different resources maybe you find while exploring the web, whether it be YouTube videos, audio files, different websites, and many other resources. We kind of think of it like Google Keep or Pinterest. And so whether you are having students use this to collect resources together or put together a book report or maybe a portfolio, or as a teacher use it to create class activities, it is a very simple tool to use, and we're going to check it out right now. Okay, so I am at my Wakelet dashboard. I went to wakelet.com. That's wakelet.com. I was able to create my free account by logging in right with Google. So I set that up. Right now my screen is kind of bare. I don't have anything yet. Basically how Wakelet works is you create what is called a collection. And that collection is kind of like your bin or your bucket of all those different related items that you are gathering information on. So really simple. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and click on Create Collection. And I can give this a title, a description, and then basically I'm going to start adding in different documents. So, for example, maybe whether this is you as your own learner, or maybe your students do this, maybe you're gathering resources. So I've got some different items here I've been collecting about John Steinbeck. So maybe I'm doing a report on authors or something related to the Great Depression. And normally you would go through here, I make a Google Doc of all my items, but I can't really get an understanding of what these different items are. Wakelet will take those items and embed them on this page for you and give you little previews, and it's a little more media driven, if you will, with images and video and things like that, a little more interactive. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a name real quick. And then basically I can take a website, a video, an image, a PDF file, different links that maybe I've collected, and I can paste those right into my Wakelet collection. And there you go. And it gives kind of a little bit of a preview, and then I can click on this and it'll actually take me to the site. So if we take a moment to see what our options are, we can just add text, right? And there's a little bit of formatting here. So if I am in teacher mode and I want to get some directions, I could say, start here. Please review the It's already saved, it looks like, so I can close out. And you can actually drag and rearrange items, but we can add text, we can add images. Notice there are some really cool integrations with Canva, Giphy, and you can browse for images online. I have an image already that I'm going to use. A picture from the Of Mice and Men movie. Again, I don't want that first, so I'm going to click and rearrange. You can upload a PDF file, and if you click this little button to the right, it shows you all the different items. So you can actually bring in Twitter posts, YouTube videos, items from Google Drive, OneDrive, Adobe Express. They actually have a partnership with Flipgrid, so you can actually embed your Flipgrid videos if you want students to respond or you want to respond to something. So I'm just going to add in a couple of different more items here just so you can kind of get an understanding of all of the different types of items that can be added. So again, you can see, so on my Google Doc, I know it's maybe a Twitter post, but I can't see it. Wakelet does that really nice job and kind of gives you that preview, if you will. Again, I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. So we have our kind of our start information here. As you're kind of going through adding items, you can manipulate these a little bit. So like this one's really boring and you think that name might not make any sense. I can actually go here and edit this so it makes a little more sense. This is one of those fireside chats that FDR did. And this one happened to be talking about inflation. And I can add a further description under there if I want. So now that item might maybe make a little more sense. Same thing on some of these down here. You can actually, well, not the video, excuse me. Some of the websites, you could actually change the image that they're using to a different image if you wanted. And then again, you could edit some of that text. So now we have this collection, and it looks a lot better than what we started with here. Next, we're going to talk about some additional options with what we can do with the collection as a whole and how we can share it. And then we're going to talk about some ideas for how this can be used in the classroom. So I have items on my collection. Let's talk about some different items that we can manipulate or edit within the display of this. So I'm going to go up to this little paintbrush icon. And so you can kind of change the design. You can add a background image, a cover image, and you can even adjust the layout. So again, I can upload an image, I can use one of these other options. So I'm going to do a search for Great Depression, and now I added an image there. It just kind of dresses up the collection a little bit, and you can choose, is it a full image, is it a half image? You can also, again, I mentioned the layout. So we have it on media. That's my favorite one because it'll actually give you kind of those preview images or video clips. If you wanted this to be really compact or maybe in a grid form, that's kind of what you would see in Google Keep, right? Something more like that, if that makes more sense for the layout. But this is where you would go to control those little paintbrush icon. Otherwise, you are ready to share. So right now, I'm the only one who can see this collection. I could publish this to my profile and make it public so other teachers, other Wakelet users could see it. Or I can turn on my sharing so then I can send a QR code, I can put it on a website, I can send it right to my Google Classroom or Microsoft account. And then of course there's links you can grab to send to others or have them join in. That's kind of important because there is an option. Again, we're over in the collections area. I only have one so far. There are classrooms you can set up so that students can join and they would automatically see these collections. And then people can share their collections with you, just like Google Drive that is shared with me. And we're going to pause there, and then we're going to talk about how to use bookmarks and then some classroom applications. So collections are pretty easy to make, especially when you have a resource sheet with all your links ready to go, kind of like I did in my example here. But sometimes you kind of come across these naturally as you're browsing the web. So what Wakelet makes it easy to do is to create bookmarks. So essentially, just like you would use bookmarks maybe in your Firefox browser or Chrome browser, is I installed a Wakelet Google Chrome add-on. So when I am at, let's say I came across this website, it's a Britannica website, I can just hit this little Wakelet icon and it'll pull this information and save it for me. So I can actually send this right into my collections that I have already, or if I don't know what I'm making yet or I'm not quite there, I can hit this option that says Save to Bookmarks. So then when I go back to Wakelet and I refresh, it now shows up here. And it just makes it a little easier to import into your collections later. Again, that's if you aren't keeping tabs along the way in a Google Doc or something. So now we're going to talk about different ways we can use this in the classroom. So just some different examples of how this could be used in the classroom. I'm just on the Wakelet website. I'm actually at learn.wakelet.com because they really do want educators and students to use this in the school setting. So you could make a teacher or a principal, weekly, monthly kind of bulletin or a newsletter, right, to just kind of map out different things that have been done recently in class or what's coming up. You can actually design a lesson plan. Right, they have learning goals and standards attached to it, readings to go through, and then there's even a Flipgrid opportunity to respond. Group projects, research is pretty obvious. It's kind of like what we were doing in our John Steinbeck example. How to do assignments, and then they can even submit their video response below. Digital portfolio is really cool. I think we can see a lot of options there. So students can upload video samples, websites, different PDF items, images, artwork they've created. And then lastly, a reading list. So those are just a few of the different ways that you could use this in the classroom. But again, this is Wakelet, Wakelet. Hope you really can find this as a beneficial resource to use in your practice. Remember, you can find Techbyte videos like this and more by heading over to massp.com/techbytes or by going to the MASSP YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/MASSP. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.